This is the plaintiff, James Venatter. He says he hired the defendant to build him an above-ground pool, paid him in full, and now seeks a refund for things he was charged for but never received. The defendant was supposed to install a fence, a chlorinator, a vacuum, a skimmer, and a cover, but hasn't. And he's suing the crook for every penny of the $1,615 he overpaid. This is the defendant, Larry Anderson. He says the plaintiff's pool came in from the manufacturer without some of the items the plaintiff's seeking a refund for. The plaintiff was very anxious to get the pool open so he and his family could swim, so he installed it for him as a courtesy before the rest of the items arrived. Next thing he knows, he's getting all these hostile calls from the guy, like he had no idea the items would be arriving a little late, and now he's being sued? Come on. He's accused of being all wet.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant to build an above-ground pool. Says the defendant didn't install a fence, a chlorinator, and a vacuum. But the defendant says the stuff was coming, but the plaintiff was too impatient. It's the case of chlorinator. He hardly knew her.
Thank you, Douglas. James
Venatter.
Venatter, you are suing Larry Anderson and L. Anderson Pools, LLC, for $1,615 for items that, according to you, were included in the purchase price of an above-ground pool, which he has never delivered. Tell me what happened.
In mid-May, we contacted Mr. Anderson to get a quote for a pool and discuss it with him. He came to our house.
How did you find him?
My wife found his webpage.
Okay.
And one of the things that impressed me on his webpage was his statement that all of our above-ground packages are priced to include full installation by our own in-house construction staff. We will not subcontract or refer you to another company for installation. I like that idea because I've had friends that have told me...
It's the installer. It's the pool. It's
exactly.
the installer.
I want
it's
one
the pool.
point of responsibility.
Right.
We went back and forth on options, prices, whatever. And on June 12th, I gave Larry a check for $5,200.
Is that the full price?
That was the full price except for the installation cost, which was to be $1,000 at the time of installation once it was completed.
All right, so so you give him the money what day?
That was on June 12th.
June 12th. And does the contract say anything? You have the same thing I have, right? It's just a list of things. It doesn't say anything about timing.
No, I was given verbal assurances that 2 to 3 weeks the pool would be up and my kids would be swimming in it.
Is that accurate?
No.
Okay, of course. This is why you want to write this stuff down in the contract. What?
Your Honor, basically what had happened was...
What did you tell him about timing?
I told him that the pools were running late. My install time, I get hit with rain, I get hit with rocks. I lose 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. I can't recover these days. So now, on average, this summer, installers were up to 21 days behind. We started rejecting work because we couldn't keep up. So the pool had gotten there. I explained to him that I was behind in my install time. I gave him the option, you're not dedicated, you're not contracted, nor do you have any money that makes me liable to install your pool. If you can find another installer, because I'm holding you up, well, then you go ahead and do that. He said, no, I want, so whatever time frame there was, he agreed to
What day did you put up the pool?
I don't know what day.
August 3rd?
Actually, Larry did not put the pool up himself. He did subcontract it out.
Absolutely did not subcontract.
How do you know it was subcontracted?
Because he told me that this was a friend of his that puts up pools, however, since he can't get to it. And actually, Larry had called me that day halfway through the install saying, oh, hey, I forgot to tell you, you need to pay this guy in cash, which I refused to do.
Okay, that happened?
Your Honor, The installer who installed that pool was out of work. He had asked me several times that he wanted to work directly for me. The install on that pool was $1,000 at a discount. I made an agreement with him. You're working for me, you're being paid piecework, because installers like to play on Facebook all day and not do their work. He was working for me, he was not working for himself.
I don't know how you could, I mean, that's not, you could say that about every sub.
Right.
Right? You just described what sub means. Unless you're paying taxes on the guy and he's your employee and you file a W-2, then he's a sub, which is specifically what your thing says you're not going to do. But let's put that to a side a second and let's discuss what occurs. So the pool goes up, but we don't have the chlorinator.
Correct.
We don't have the vacuum.
We don't have
the fence.
Correct.
Did the package include a cover?
No.
Never.
No.
According to you.
No.
And what evidence do you have that it included a cover?
Because we had discussed that verbally, and it was supposed to, you had
Hey, don't
told me
stare
it
him
would
down.
be.
Look at me. Talk to me.
I'm sorry.
Is that anywhere on the invoice?
No, it's not on the invoice.
Okay. All right. So what ends up happening is he decides, I've waited long enough. At some point, after several weeks pass, he sends you a letter, and he says, either you come and you put in the rest of the stuff because I've been waiting for 2.5 months, or I will take you to court and just buy this stuff myself because I've already paid you for it and I don't have it. And he doesn't hear from you, so he takes you to court, and that's why we're here. Now, according to you, and now he's suing you for the following things: a chlorinator that is $63 on the open market, a vacuum that's $137, a surface skimmer that's $45, a winter cover, which you say was never part of it, and unless you show me proof it was, you're not going to get that, and a fence. And the fence is the big ticket item. The fence is $1,250. It's almost all of this. Now, the fence is something that, according to you, is included in the $5,200 estimate. And according to you, it's not?
No.
Okay. Now, he has, show me what you've got. He has your invoice, and it lists the fence.
Correct.
Right.
He had originally wanted a pool with a fence, the fencing around it with the decking. The decking became too much money. Okay, he decided that he didn't want to do it. At that point, I had taken it as that the decking and fencing was being alleviated and done. When I went...
Eliminated.
When I went to him to pick up the deposit, what happened was he said to me, yes, I want the fence, okay? But after him saying wanting the fence and the figures, that fence was on top of what that 52 was.
But you didn't write that. You wrote fence kit, right? Onto the, I mean, you weren't going to get he wasn't going to do it. He wasn't going to, and you were worried about him backing out of the deal, so you included the fence?
No.
Because that's what your answer to the complaint says. I was worried they would back out of the deal.
No, that was
worried. I thought I might lose the pool deal entirely because his wife was looking funny at me.
No,
I love that.
Your Honor,
I love that
Your
expression.
Honor, Your
What
Honor.
did you mean she was looking funny
Your
at
Honor.
you? Giving you the evil eye?
No, as if the price, Your Honor, the $1,250, what I meant by that was losing the deal. That $1,250 is my cost. I should have been able to increase the cost on that profit. So I
you
let
can
it
say everything you want to say, but here's what you said in the answer to the complaint. I quoted him the price of $1,800 on top of that, the $5,200. But when his wife started looking funny at me,
correct,
I thought I might lose the pool deal entirely, so I sold him the fence that cost $1,250. Okay, now your version of this is different. Your version of this is what?
My version of this is on June 1st, I received a text message from Larry. Do I want the pool? The response was yes, with the fence.
Okay.
So it
that
wasn't
doesn't tell
anything.
me what it is that you were supposed to be charged for the fence. When you discussed fence with him, did he tell you it would be $1,250?
That was the price he gave me, and he gave me a total package price in another email.
I understand that he has failed you, but that doesn't give you the right to all of a sudden pretend the fence is free.
No, the fence wasn't free.
So the fence was supposed to be an additional $1,250.
No, that was the cost of it, but it was included in the $5,200. And I have an email from him that gives a quote.
Okay, now let me see the email that you have. Okay, actually the email is exactly what he's saying. It says fence kit is $1,275 on top of the pool price. How am I supposed to interpret that? The $5,200 included the
because the $5,200 I paid.
Your mistake. Apparently, you made a huge mistake. You need to pay closer attention. okay? You need to be more of a detail guy. I'm looking through your pad. You don't even have dates up for any of these contracts.
Your Honor.
Look at me. Are you interrupting me when I'm talking about how you are not a detail guy?
Yes, no, but I'm trying to explain to you why.
There's no explanation. What you need to do instead, this is your handwriting. You wrote fence kit.
Yes.
You have very distinctive handwriting. And then you didn't put the additional price, and then you didn't put a total of 52 plus 1275, 6 something, right?
No. Your Honor, I said to you, we started having a conversation about...
I don't want to hear that.
Okay.
I want to hear why fence kit appears on an invoice that only has 5,200.
Because the fence kit was written down because he had now said he wanted it.
So why instead of just writing fence kit,
because
wouldn't it have been a better idea to do what I'm suggesting?
Yes,
which is take a second and write 1275.
Yes.
Then he wouldn't have this to argue.
I agree with you.
Get it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on the 5,200, did he ever pay you an extra $1,000 for the installation?
Yes.
He did.
Yes.
So he ended up paying you a total of 6,200. Is that part correct?
Correct.
That's correct.
Everybody's on the same page. All right, guys. So then, even though you got lucky and he didn't write that down, it sounds to me very clear that he had said to you that this would be above and beyond the pool cost. Because the email you hand me says the fence kit is $1,275 on top of the pool price. This email said, in fact, he says it. He spells it out. Fence kit is $1,275 on top of the pool price. Pool and liner with pump, skimmer, and vacuum and auto chemical feed and installation is $5,200. $5,200 includes the installation? Yes or no?
No.
Yes, according to that right there, it does.
Your Honor, the pool package was $5,200 without the fence, $1,500 install was shaved down to $1,000. It was a total of $60.
Why isn't that in the email? Because what this says is $5,200 plus fence kit, $1,275 equals $6,475. If you plan to charge him $1,000 more than that, where's that?
Because the install was a total separate entity of that. The install is a separate piece of paperwork, a separate...
Yeah, and so he had paid you $50. You have to be right.
$5,200.
Because now I know from the email, which of course you were the one who handed it to me, but now because you don't even have the email, you came to court without this email, right?
Right, man, because I thought it was pretty clear.
Are you kidding me? You're being litigated against, and you don't take the time to sit at your computer and pull and print every single email about the discussions? And you know he's suing you for the $1,275, which he hadn't paid you, so why wouldn't you print this?
You don't need it if you have a good judge.
Really? Yeah. Let me explain something to you, cowboy.
Okay, so this guy says, you don't need evidence if you have a good judge. I'm going way in the back. What do you think of that comment? You don't have to lean that way.
Okay. Slam the hammer. That was a dumb comment to make.
Why was it dumb?
Because you just don't challenge the judge like that, Jan. I mean, he or she has the power to lock you up or set you free.
Well, small claims, generally you don't go to prison, but I think the point is still valid, going inside the courtroom.
I have to figure out which of the two of you is either wrong or lying. That's the good judge's responsibility. You have 1,000 opportunities to help yourself from looking like an idiot. Avail yourself of all 1,000 and bring your evidence to court. Because otherwise, you're just shooting your mouth off and he's just shooting your mouth off, and I've never met either one of you. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So here's what your deal is. I've been able to figure it out. If this email didn't exist, you're probably going to kick yourself later for handing it to me because he wouldn't have had it. I would have said, hey, that's what your receipt says, pal. Go packing, $5,200, and you wrote fence kit in there too, it's included. But this email tells me that clearly the discussion was $5,200 for the pool, plus the fence kit of $1,275 is $6,475. Now you're arguing to me, installation was included in the $5,200. But I know that's a lie because you wrote the check to the other guy, and you'd already paid the $5,200.
No, ma'am. And that was written 2 weeks before we actually made the deal with the purchase agreement and me writing the check to him. Things changed. He changed his prices. I said, okay, and we made a deal.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The total price.
No. Hold on. The man has your estimate which totals $5,200, including the fence kit. The best evidence you have of what you are arguing, because you are arguing to me, no, Judge, that was an additional $1,275, is an email that you sent him 2 weeks before you struck a deal finally. You're calling him and saying, so you want the pool, you want the pool, you want the pool? And then when you finally strike a deal, the deal is $5,200 and fence kit is in there. And you have written nothing additional for fence kit.
Correct.
That strikes me as you're trying to get the deal, just like your answer sounded. Okay, I quoted him a price, but she looked at me funny or whatever. That there was some question about whether you were going to land this account, and that you threw in the fence kit since you didn't write anything there. At best, neither one of you are liars, and you really think it's your way, and you really think it's your way, and then I got to decide, how does it look? Fairly, how does it look? And fairly, you included fence kit in there. And you're the guy drafting the contract. And there's a premise in the law that says any ambiguity gets called out against the drafter who drafted the ambiguity. In other words, you're the guy who didn't write 1275 there. So isn't he within his rights to say it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it's a duck? I'm supposed to get this whole thing. I paid him all up front, $5,200. I paid him everything but installation, Judge. Isn't he entitled to say that unless you can present proof to the contrary? I find that he is. You're not entitled to the winter cover, but you're entitled to everything else. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,495.
Where's the defendant coming out here? You had a good judge and you still lost.
Yes, I did.
Well, you're the drafter of the ambiguity, so you have responsibility.
Yes,
You understand this?
Yes. It was actually, I can see now that wasn't added as I wrote it in and didn't put the pricing. The email, the judge had it right the first time, but, what she did say is correct. The end result is the paper does look like it was included, so.
Right. So what are you going to do now as a result of this, after what you've learned in this experience?
Spend 1 hour installing a pool and 10 hours writing the estimate for it.
Okay. Exactly. All right, sir, so step on out here. What's your comment on this?
Justice has been done. I've been refunded my money. I'm happy.
All right, Harvey.
Okay, all of this is so unavoidable, it's so ridiculous, that when you make a contract with somebody, spend the 10 minutes it takes to figure out what it is that the person is doing, what each of you are doing, and then write it out clearly, every step along the way of what's supposed to happen and who's supposed to get what. It just saves so many problems down the line. It will take so much more time to undo a mess.